Okay. Hey everyone, it's Samia, and right now I'm going to be doing a little review, discussion, my thoughts, that type of thing on the book. Did I mention I Love You by Estelle Maskame? This is book 1 in a trilogy, and I just finished it like 5 minutes ago, and I didn't take any notes on it while I was reading. I just kind of like went with the flow and was reading. I wasn't thinking too much about it, and I also was reading very sporadically because I'm in school, and so I'm like taking tests and doing homework and stuff, but I'm like trying to read at the same time. And so this one was just a really light, easy read for me. Not in the sense that it was a light, easy book, because it wasn't, but it was just like a lovey-dovey book that I picked up. And so this video might be a little random. It's probably going to take me forever to edit because I literally took 5 minutes really quick and threw down some thoughts and ideas and characters and stuff that I could go off of for this, because I just really want to talk about this book. So this book is about a girl named Eden, and she is 16, and she lives with her mom in Portland, and she decides that she's going to go live with her father, who got a divorce with her mom and up and left and hasn't talked to her in 3 years. And so she decides to go live with him in California for the summer. And so she does that. So Eden goes there, and she is thrown in... Sorry, that was gross. I should not be rubbing my face when I'm talking. So Eden goes there over the summer and is thrown into this life with a stepmother, her father that she hasn't talked to in 3 years, that just up and left them when, I want to say she was 12, 13, when they got a divorce and he like left and didn't talk to her again. So she has a stepmother that she has to deal with, and she also has 3 stepbrothers. Her stepbrothers are Chase, Jamie, and Tyler, and they are, I want to say Chase and Jamie are like 8 and 10. Jamie is the older one, and then Tyler is 17, and so he is a year older than Eden. And her stepmom's name is Ella. And so I don't believe I remember reading about her dad's real name. Maybe I just am drawing a blank on it. But she goes to live with them, and she basically starts to fall for her stepbrother, and that's where the story goes, and that's where it goes. And so I'm just going to talk about the characters, and while I'm talking about the characters, I'll kind of just get into their personalities and how I like the book with them. I think that's a good way to kind of explain this. So yeah, so we have Eden and Tyler, Ella, Chase, and Jamie, which I talked about, and then we have their group of friends that Eden joins when she moves down here to California. We have Dean, Tiffany, Jake, Megan, and Rachel. So Rachel is a girl that lives across the street from her, and so totally just ran out of battery on my phone. I mean, memory. And I had to delete some stuff. And so I was talking about Rachel and how Rachel lives across the street, and she first meets Rachel at a barbecue that she attends with her family, and she basically just meets like the whole neighborhood. And it was really overwhelming for her, but she met Rachel there, and they really hit it off. They talked, and they enjoyed each other's company, and they became friends. And then we also have Tiffany and Megan, which is also part of that like trio of girls. Well, it's 4 of them with Eden, but the 3 girls that were originally friends before Eden. So Megan, we don't really, I mean, she is involved in the book, but not very much. She kind of just is here and there. She's a really sweet girl. I didn't have any problems with her. And then we have Tiffany, which I just can't even deal. She is absolutely just not my cup of tea. I think that I didn't like her from like the very beginning. And I definitely didn't like her near the end. It was just not my cup of tea. I didn't like her character at all. And I'm hoping, well, I mean, in this book it kind of explains why she is the way she is, but I still did not find that it was a valid excuse for her actions and what she did, and so I really just did not like her character, like, at all. Then we also have Jake and Dean, which are 2 of the male friends in this book. And Jake, I kind of really didn't like either. He just didn't give off a really good vibe. And Dean, he was a really sweet character, always very nice and caring and very friendly, and so I really liked Dean. Then we also get mentioned, like, a few other side characters, again, aren't really mentioned very much. We get mentioned Trevor, which is someone that Rachel kind of, like, crushes on and talks to, and I think we'll really learn more about this character in the next 2 books, which I'm so sad about. They don't come out until, I think, March 16th and is book 2, and then June or August or something is book 3, and I'm like, no, I want to read them all right now. Like, in the middle of this book, I went on Amazon and was going to order them because I was going to use my Amazon Prime, and so I could, around the same time that I would finish this, I could just directly pick up the next ones, and so I was, like, so excited until I realized that I would have to pre-order them, and I'm like, oh, no. But the second one isn't too far. March is coming up, and probably by the time that you see this, it'll probably be March, because I have a few other videos that I need to upload before I upload this one. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Then we also get mentioned Amelia, which is Eden's friend from back home in Portland, and she comes up a couple times. She isn't really a main character. Maybe she will be later on. I don't really think so, but she just kind of is barely in there. And then we also get introduced to Alyssa and Holly, which were 2 of Eden's friends back home again. They aren't her friends anymore, and that kind of is brought up very briefly. We also get introduced, obviously, to Eden's mom, and yeah, and so those are the characters that we're introduced to, and I generally like them. Like I said, I thought that they were, like, really solid characters. So I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a very nice, light, and easy read. I could tell that there was going to be some type of, like, drama. Of course there is. I knew that there was reasoning behind why Tyler acted the way he did. Of course, in any character that has outbursts and rages and that type of stuff and acts out, of course there's going to be a reason why. I definitely wasn't expecting the reason, which was a good surprise. I mean, it was a bad surprise, but it was a surprise. We also get thrown, I feel like a good half of the book is very, not light, but it's not, I don't know what I'm saying here. I feel like after the first half of the book, it just really picks up and is full of, like, suspense, and you really just want to keep reading and figure out what's going to happen. And there's quite a few twists that just, like, blow up in the second half of the book. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the characters. I loved their development, because they did really develop quite a bit in this book. And I mean, it followed younger teens, and I have been reading a lot of, like, new adult romance books, and so it was a little different, and I was kind of weary when I first started that I wasn't gonna enjoy it as much as I did, because it was just younger teenagers, and, you know, sometimes I just can't connect. But I really connected with these characters, and there was times that I almost cried. I didn't cry, but it was cry worthy. I could have cried, because there was just so much that happened. I've noticed I don't cry that much for books anymore. I mean, I do, but it just really depends. I think it depends on my mood. But this book, it really just tugs at your heart, and it is so, I found it to be a very good book. I would probably give this book 4.5 stars. 4.5, a solid 4.5 stars. Yeah, it was a really good book, and I definitely can't wait to get into the next 2 books. And so right now I'm going to dive a little bit into more of the spoiler section. I'm mainly going to talk about the ending, because I just have so many thoughts on the epilogue. Like, oh my god, like, no. So if you don't plan on reading this book or want to know what happens in the epilogue and what happens, you can totally keep watching. But if not, I'm definitely going to be ranting about the ending of the book and what is to come. So if this is where our journey ends, I will hopefully see you guys in my next video. Bye! So, now for everyone else that's still watching, if you're still watching. Watch, there's nobody. I have so many problems with the end of the book. Not that it really affects this book, because it's more about the epilogue and the next book, because I felt that this book was great. It ended really well. It ended really solid, because in the end, Eden and Tyler just decide, like, hey, this isn't gonna work. Like, we can't be together. We just need to stop. And basically that's where it ends. Like, the day that she tells him that, hey, we can't do this, like, it was really hard for them to come to that agreement. Like, no, I actually do really care about you. Like, I can't do that. Like, they do come to an agreement to say, hey, okay, fine, it's not going to work. If that's what you want, I can't do anything about it. They come to that agreement, and she goes and does her thing, and she goes to a concert with Dean, and the ending, literally, the last, like, 2 sentences of the book is, like, where Dean holds her hand at the concert, and of course I'm like, oh, God, no. Please don't do a relationship with him. Just don't. Don't do it. Because you can already tell, like, they have so much chemistry, Eden and Tyler, I mean, and so much, like, love for each other that it's just like, no, that can't happen, because you don't care for him the way that you care for Tyler. And so it's just like, no, 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 no. And of course it happens. And so the epilogue is all about 10 months later, how Eden and her mom moved down to California. She is going to school now with all of the gang of friends, except they're all graduating because she's one more year, because she's a year younger than them. But it's about like, Tyler decides after school he's gonna go off to New York and do a tour about physical abuse, which, oh my God, that child abuse thing, like, totally threw me for a complete 180. Like, I was not expecting that at all. I kind of had a slight, no, I wouldn't say that. I don't know. I was all over the place for this book. I had so many thoughts that I thought were going to happen, because I was so caught up in thinking, like, oh, let me see what's going to happen next. Like, let me connect clues. And it totally wasn't working. I totally got it all wrong. But he decides to go on this tour in New York to talk about physical abuse and his story and all about that. And Eden is going to school, and she is in a relationship with Dean for the past, like, 10 months or whatever. And the first time that I read that, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't understand how she just went from this huge transition, because she knows that she really cares for Tyler. And so it just really bothered me that she got into this relationship with Dean, because Dean genuinely is a really nice guy. He seems like a really nice character. He kind of has, like, this fit of anger at the end when because Eden decides that she's gonna go and spend the summer, like, after she graduates, she's gonna spend the summer in New York with Tyler. And basically, like, the whole thing was just, like, not right, because, like, before Tyler left, like, she went into his room and they were talking or whatever, because they always talk and whatever, and they try and ignore their attraction to each other. And so she's, like, telling him goodbye and whatever, and they totally, like, they don't, like, make out, but, like, they know that they still have this connection with each other. And he says, you know, oh, I'll see you in New York, blah, 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 like, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, no, if you want to be with Tyler, break it off with Dean, because he is a nice guy. And it's just like, I can't deal with that, because one of my biggest pet peeves in books is cheating. Like, if there's a book about cheating, which I have read one, and I'm trying to get into the next one, not right now, but I read, is that a spoiler? Let's cut that out. My biggest pet peeve is cheating, and it's hard for me to get into a book if there's cheating involved. And not necessarily that she was cheating, but she was definitely emotionally cheating. And I mean, she could have cheated physically too, in a couple senses, I feel like, but she was definitely emotionally cheating on Dean. And I just felt like that is not right. Like, if you don't want to be with someone, like, yeah, you might like him and you care for him, but you know that you don't care for him the way that you care for Tyler. And I just felt like that was not right. And I'm really curious to see how the second book goes, because it's about her going to New York and spending 6 weeks in New York with Tyler. And of course, they can't, like, ignore their attraction for each other. And so it's like, it just really bothers me how she's in a relationship with Dean. And in the end of the epilogue, he is driving her to the airport, and she just, like, he just is, like, really mad at her that oh my God, I can't even talk, like, seriously. He is really mad at her for the fact that she's gonna go spend 6 weeks in New York when they're together, you know? And she's going off to, like, college in Chicago, which, hey, I live in Illinois, Chicago's, like, my city. which is always fun to read about. But she's going off to college in Chicago, and Dean is not. He's going to obviously be in California, and so he's just like, you're starting the long distance early, like, it's just all this stuff. And he just kind of, like, gets really mad at her that she's leaving. And eventually, right before they leave, they're like, oh, lovey-dovey and whatever. But it's just, it really, really, really bothered me that she was, like, emotionally cheating on Dean. Because, honestly, I felt like he was a great character. But I'm excited to see where the second book goes. I do really, really like Eden and Tyler together. And so it just really bothers me that Eden is not taking advantage of Dean, but not giving him the respect that he needs. And so that is the part that really bothered me, that might be a problem in the second book, because I don't think it affected this book at all, because that was part of the epilogue. I don't really consider that to be part of this book. I mean, it is, but you know what I mean? It wasn't a problem with the majority of this book. It was probably like 2 pages in this book. So that's why I'm still giving this book a 4.5 stars. The second one, I might be like a 4-star read or something, you know, because that aspect just really, really bothers me. So if you couldn't tell, because I've talked about it for the last like 6 minutes. But I think that's basically my thoughts on this book. If you've read this book and want to talk about it, please comment down below. I would love to talk to you guys about this book. I would love to, because I love to hear other people's opinions, and I know I could probably talk about so many other things that happen in this book, but it would probably be a really long video, and I don't really know exactly how to process my thoughts right now. But definitely, if you guys want to talk about this book, please leave some comments. I would seriously love to talk to you guys about it. But yeah, that's basically all that I have for this video. Yeah. And I'm sure by the time that you see this video, I'll probably already be reading the second one. Hopefully. Hopefully, I'm so excited. But yeah, that's about it. And so I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.